Hey y'all, it's Crazy Dave here. This is a subject that is going to be very near and dear to me. I'm sorry you're seeing the reflections of the computer screen on my glasses. Um, it's martial arts. The martial art I used to take gets a lot of flack. It's called Aikido, and there's a lot of people criticizing it. And these people who criticize it, they might have legit complaints. Might say the form is old. Might there are within Aikido circles there are people doing it just for money. There are these highfalutin ranked instructors who are from Japan who just do it for money. You know, you have to pay so many for a gi, so much for, and you get promoted so fast that you don't understand the origins of a technique or the feeling of a technique. In short, the reason why Aikido gets a lot of flack is because of the way it's being demonstrated. You know, Steven Seagal does it. The dude's on the ground. It looks more street applicable, and it makes a lot of sense to a lot of street fighters. Okay, that's fine. I'm not criticizing that form. Okay, and I'm not going to criticize the classical form because there's a lot of old, classical form which came from the days of the samurai. What I'm here to say is there's people that criticize a segment of Aikido. It's still Aikido, okay? But they look at it and they're trained martial artists and they're like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. I've never used it. If I use that in a real fight, I would lose. You know, and there are talk shows out there that criticize every martial art, every single one of them. And there are a lot of fakes out there that'll get pissed off, and they'll go and they'll come to the said radio show and they'll defend it. Or they'll come and they'll try these radio hosts who are fakes and claim that they knew Aikido and they were baffled, or knew ninjutsu and they were baffled that they got their butt kicked. I mean, I was hearing, there's one radio show I listen to, it's an MMA show. I have a family member who used to do ninjutsu, okay? And he's trained me in it a little bit, so I'm not an expert in it. I took maybe about 2 lessons. And from those 2 lessons, I felt the effectiveness, and I never really criticized it. And I learned never to criticize other martial arts. So they came in there. It's people who came on the radio show and came in there and said, yeah, we went to a ninjutsu school. Okay. And when we got there, the guy said, all right, class, we have a challenger. This is their story. All right. So you know what the ninjutsu guy did? The parent ninjutsu guy? He just blindfolded himself and says, attack me. You know what the other guy did? The challenger just quietly walked over, put him in a chokehold, knocked him out. That's not ninjutsu whatsoever. Ninjutsu instructors will not go. A legit ninjutsu instructor will not go and go, we have a challenger. You know, it's not like that supposed instructor is in it for the money. Okay. And you have a lot of those. It's like they get so busy looking at these Bruce Lee movies and want to get in these martial arts and treat it as fantasy, and they're like, well, heck, you know, I could make a lot of money just doing fake stuff. That's what they're criticizing. That's what the MMA people are criticizing. Okay? But they tend to criticize those no matter who fake comes in. Okay? From many martial arts, from Kung Fu to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu itself to, because they will call you out, man. So they decide to, because of those fakes, they decide to cast the whole martial art as a fake and is not effective. Even, the Steven Seagal stuff, they've even criticized. Which he's about 9 foot tall, okay? He's very strong. So, his form will work for him. That's fine. Which there are some very effective Aikido techniques in Tenshin Aikido, which I know what Tenshin Aikido is, and I actually used to do it a little bit. So I actually think I came from that. That's the style I learned to the reverse. It wasn't. Well, I didn't learn the classic. I didn't learn the classical. I mean, I learned the classical style, but it was like updated and modernized a little bit. What I learned was I came from an instructor who I admire very much. He came up here, and I still talk with him. He's a cool dude. He came up here and learned from a guy who learned, in Japan, and he learned under O-sensei. And learned from a guy who learned from instructors who learned under O-sensei, the founder of Aikido, Morihei Ueshiba. And he has a lot of demonstration videos out there where he doesn't show the whole technique and they fall for him and stuff. But there's a reason why he didn't do that. It was because back in those days, back in the 1930s and 40s, Aikido wasn't well known, and even into the 60s, Aikido wasn't even well known. And he would hide techniques from the Americans. There was only one American that trained with him, and his name is Terry Dobson. And Aikido has advanced in form since then. It's still an infant, still a baby. But like I learned from an instructor who learned in Japan, and I went to a seminar with his instructor, and this is after a while of training. And I went to street jabbing. I had some questions about street jabs and just basic fighting, just modern day fighting stuff. And of course I got thrown on the ground, but he answered my question. He's like, it's not, you have to be able to let go of Aikido the form. And I think that's what people criticize, is Aikido the form. Other people like criticize Aikido the form. He's like, you have to be able to get so good that you know where your body is, and you know where that person is, that you have to let go of the form, to where you can feel the weight shift of their energy, which is basically, it's physics. Aikido is physics. You can feel the weight shift, and then you can just push off in a diagonal direction or push down or wherever you want to go. I think people criticize Aikido because it looks like dancing, because it looks so soft that it can't be effective and can't be real. I'm here to tell you that it is. And I'm also here to tell you that I'm not looking for someone to get in a street fight with just for the sake of doing it. If somebody attacks me, I'm looking, okay, they're attacking me and my family, and I'm going to do whatever I can to protect them. That's how I look at it. Aikido is effective. It very much is, at least from my perspective, and it works for me. It may not work for everybody, okay? But I'm here to say that anybody who criticizes any martial art, especially the professional MMA, the professional MMA commentators, they have a right from their point of view because all these fakes come in. And even before I left Aikido due to my knees, the number one thing my instructor was worried about was how Aikido was being politically taken over by a bunch of people who all they wanted was money. And there are only like 3 or 4 Aikido instructors left who know what the original intent was. Aikido is the way of harmony. It's not peace and love and harmony. Well, that's one aspect of it, in the higher spiritual realm of things. But it's musubi, which is blending, which is you should be able to blend with any attack that comes, whether it be jab, kick, whatever. The form is a byproduct of that. Okay? So essentially Aikido is the way of harmony. So Aikido, Steven Seagal's version could be correct. Anybody's version can be correct so long as it blends. Okay? And by the way, you can strike, you can throat punch them, you can do whatever you want. So long as it blends, that's Aikido. Okay? If it doesn't blend, it's not Aikido. Alright? Which is using their force against them. So that's why you have so many different forms. You have Tenshin Aikido, you have the classical form, you have so many different, you have Tekumisi Aikido? There's a very, it's almost like judo-like, I can't remember the name. But there's a lot of different forms. So to criticize Aikido or any martial art on the surface is, false. So just, don't do that. Alright, that's the end of my video, and Crazy Dave signing out.